in our world, that's the same thing, right? Telework tips. Paul Gatons from the Montgomery County will give us some tips. I think, Paul, you can share your screen.
Yes. Well, yep.
Yep. Okay. The MCDOT Commuter Services has been a member of the Chamber for a very long time. It's a great partnership in terms of one of the goals of commuter services is the whole rush hour commute aspect. And we've been able to put out information and help the commuter services reach out to employers, and so I think it's been a great partnership. And so this has been an interesting topic for commuter services. So Paul, I'm just going to let you take it away, and then we will. So this will take place of one of our breakouts. We're still going to have breakouts, and we'll still have networking afterwards. And so take it away, Paul.
Great. Thank you, Marilyn, for the introduction. Like says, my name is Paul Gatons. I'm a transit marketing specialist with the Montgomery County Department of Transportation Commuter Services. And I'm going to review a short presentation and answer any questions you might have at the end. So if you just hold your questions till the end. It is hard to believe that we've been teleworking for almost a year now. Who would have thought that? And we've become experts in what works for us, what doesn't work when it comes to performing our jobs at remote workplaces. But I'm going to review some things that I found that we've kind of made it helpful for us to be more productive in our telecommuting, and provide you with some resources in case you're looking for more information at the end. So, work. I can advance this. So used to working with teams that I'm not used to working with.
Uh-oh.
So Laura, did you share the screen or did Paul share the screen?
Oh, Laura shared it.
So you can't advance. So Laura, you'll need to advance the screen, the shots.
We can just go to the next one.
I don't see Laura on. Oh, there you go.
There we go. So this is just a quick definition of telecommuting. And, some of the advantages of telecommuting, 30 to 40% more productive. Teleworkers have been found to work more hours. Of course, there's the energy savings and, of course, the reduction in pollution. We can go to the next slide.
Next slide, Laura.
So one of the first things we'll just talk about is setting up a designated workspace, and you want to design it for efficiency and comfort, which is really important. You want to select a high quality chair. That's the most important thing. You're going to spend 8 hours sitting there. You better have a good chair, and it's really important for your posture, and it'll save you from having any issues, health issues in the future. But I think that's one of the things I hear so many people talking about is that, oh, that's like the last thing they think of to replace is a chair, but that's really important. Desk height is important so that you're not putting strain on your back or your shoulders. A lot of my coworkers recommend a standing desk. I don't know if you want to invest in that, but it's nice to have the variation of standing and sitting during your day. And then the next thing is the monitor. Make sure your monitor is up to date and the clarity on your monitor is good. You hear a lot about people getting eye strain over the work day, and by the end of the day you have a headache. So that's really important. And a second monitor can be really nice too, especially if you're doing a Zoom presentation or working on anything, to have a second monitor so that you can kind of cut and paste from that and things like that. You want to have a reliable, secure internet connection, and you want to try to be close to the wireless modem. I kind of found this out as I picked a workplace in my house that was kind of way far away from my modem. And, if you have a lot of people at home working and using that Wi-Fi, that can it drains it. So try to set up your workspace as close to a modem as possible. And if you can't, try to get one of those boosters. You can pick those up pretty cheaply at any office supply store. Also, you want to have adequate ventilation, and you want to choose a place that's quiet if you can. And if you can't, try to get pick up some noise canceling headphones. Those have been really helpful for a lot of people. And if you can, please choose a room with a door. That way that kind of keeps you keeps some of that noise down as well. A thing from the Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, they say that they've had a lot of increase in house fires since everybody's been home telecommuting and with people overloading the sockets. So that's something to think about. Don't overload the sockets at your house. Utilize power strips so that with a surge protector, so in case the power does go out or there's a surge, you don't get your hard drive fried on your computer. I've had a couple of people talk about that being an issue. And try to, if you can, utilize bookshelves and file cabinets so that you can put things away at the end of the day. And the other thing, I think the most important thing is that you want to choose a location so that when you're in that location in the house or wherever you're set up, that people other people in the house know that you're in there working. That's an important aspect so that people don't come and interrupt you when you're in a call or when you're trying to do something. And it really cuts down on those interruptions if you can kind of set up a place where when you're there, people know you're working. Laura, can we go to the next slide? And another important thing is to set up a daily routine. Develop a pre-work routine, coffee, breakfast, catch up on the news, shower, get dressed, and try to start your workday every day at the same time. Try to wait until you're in your designated workspace before you start your workday. That kind of helps divide up your home life from your work life. And structure your day like you'd go into the office. Each day set goals and check them off as you accomplish them. Important to use an Outlook calendar or day timer. I'm kind of old fashioned. I use both. It's nice to have things written down, but it just helps to keep organized and keep a track of your progress in accomplishing tangible and intangible goals and tasks. I know a lot of times it's just nice to be able to, you do so much during the day, but it's nice to kind of keep track of that so that when somebody asks you what you've been up to, you can kind of go through and do that. Those intangible tasks do take time. And the real important, communicate with your manager and your coworkers. That's something we've done with little effort when we were in the office, but now it really kind of takes effort to communicate with people, and it's important to do that. At the end of the day, take inventory of what you accomplished during the day and jot down a little list of what you're going to do tomorrow, so that you kind of have that lined up for when you come into the office in the morning. Put things away at the end of the day, and kind of keep things organized. Put your notebooks and your papers away, and close your door to your workspace if you can, if there's an opportunity. And try to leave at a designated time each day. I know that's hard when you're working at home, but try to do that, and refrain from re-entering your workspace until the next day. If something comes into your pops into your mind about work, jot it down on a piece of paper or a notebook or something, but don't go into your back into your workspace, because what that is if you think you're going to spend 5 minutes in there, you usually end up spending an hour and 5 minutes in there, just because you come across so many things that need to be done. So you really it's really important to keep that work-life balance and keep work separate. Okay, if you can go to the next slide, Laura. And it's really important to take breaks throughout the day. Leave your designated workspace, go outside, take a walk or a bike ride, take the dog for a walk, do some basic stretching exercises. And the other thing that I hear so many people do, they seem to eat lunch in front of their computer or eat lunch in their office. And so many times it just doesn't give you a break. So it's really important to kind of eat lunch away from your designated workspace. And of course, we spend all day on using electronics, using the computer or your cell phone. It's nice to set aside some non-electronics time to kind of disconnect a little bit. And you can also have virtual breaks with your coworkers via Teams or Zoom. That's another great way. And, a lot of people forget about all the breaks you actually took at work that were built into your workday. Like taking a walk or, walking down to a colleague's office to talk about a project, walk to the break room or walk to the copier, walk to a meeting, walk to the bathroom, stop by a coworker's office to talk. So, we had a lot of those built-in break times that we would take naturally during the day when we were in the office and that we don't do now. So that's kind of an important thing to remember as you're going through. Okay, next slide. So there's a couple of new things to try that kind of help you break up your day. And if you're kind of stuck in a rut and you're looking for some new things to do, the first thing is a fake commute. And everybody goes, well, what's a fake commute? But the Washington Post published an article in December about people who are missing their commutes. And it helped, what they said most was, it's that the commute really helped them signal the start and end to their workday. And it really helped them to separate home life from work life. And commute, it kind of gave a buffer between the two. I know for some of us, the commute was tension filled sometimes, but you did get something positive out of it because you were separating your work with your home life, and it was a nice balance there. So when we talk about a fake commute, the average commute time in DC was about 43 minutes. So if you take that 43 minutes and you go for a walk for 43 minutes, or you go to the park for 43 minutes, you take the dog to the park for the 43 minutes, or you go for a bike ride, but you do something other than, of course, you're not commuting and you're not in the office, but it's a nice way to break up your home life from your work life. And then also, if you could meet coworkers virtually online for coffee or lunch or happy hour or something, or meet your neighbors, go for a walk. We have something that we've tried in our office. We have so many Teams meetings all the time, and everybody never really gets a chance to talk about what's going on in their home. But we had team meeting with everybody's pet was there, so we kind of showed everybody's pet. So that kind of broke it up. And then we had another one where we had everybody's kids there. So it was kind of a nice way to kind of break up the day and still keep in touch with everybody at the office. Also, it's kind of important to get out of the house at least once a week if you can go drop by the office or go do field work. I'm currently doing a project with us is we're cataloging all of the bike racks throughout the county and putting them into a database where people who are in the county can look up, see where if they're going to ride from point A to point B to see if there's an actual bike rack there where they can lock their bikes. So it's important. Also, you can always go to a shared workspace or a telework center like Regis or Launch. Those are out there if you're trying to break up your day. And take your computer outside, kind of go to a different spot if you can. The other thing is that if you're having a problem completing things in a timely manner, somebody suggested that you use your laundry as a timer. So you put a load of wash in the washer and you try to accomplish a goal. And before it's done and you put it in the dryer, that kind of gives you a nice timing, keeps you on track of accomplishing goals. So that's kind of a different way to look at it. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So I'm just going to go over, that's kind of the presentation in terms of some ideas for teleworking. And then these are places where we have some resources where if you want to do a little bit more research on your own, you can do that. The first one is Commuter Services for Montgomery County has two videos that are out there on telecommuting, one for employers and one for employees. And they're great. They're free of charge. You can watch them anytime you want. You find that you can use that link there, or you can just go to the Montgomery County DOT website and type commuter services, and it'll pop up, and you can just watch those at your leisure. They may have some great, have some good ideas there as well. Okay, next slide. And then Commuter Connections has a great website. They have it's called the Commute with Confidence website, and it's got all kinds of great ideas about commuting and telecommuting. It also has a lot of resources for the local the local commuting options like bus and train, and kind of gives you an update on what they're doing to keep people safe when they commute and things like that. But it's a great resource. Okay, we can go to the next one. And then the Maryland Department of Transportation has a great website as well. They've got webinars there. They've also got some telework tip sheets that are printable PDFs that you can print off. And I think there's 4 or 5 of them that cover different topics so that you can use those. Okay, next slide. And the Greater Washington Partnership did 2 surveys, one in the summer of 2020 and one in December. And it kind of got feedback from employers about when they're going to be thinking about bringing staff back to on-site locations to work, and had some nice statistics and some really good feedback. So if you're looking for kind of a snapshot of what's going on in the DMV, that was kind of a really good, had a lot of really good information. Okay, next slide. And Go Montgomery is a monthly newsletter that Department of Transportation puts out. You can sign up to get that to come right to your inbox, but that has a lot of great information as well about what's going on in the county. Okay, next slide. And we are going to be having, if we can put it together, they're assembling it as we speak. There's going to be a new telework webinar coming in February. And we will make sure we get an email blast out to everybody, and then also alert the chamber that it's coming. And then we do a lot of things on Twitter now. So our Twitter account is there as well. And I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, next slide. Did anybody have any questions or anything? I know we've been doing this for a while, so it's we've kind of all become experts in what works and what doesn't work. But if you had any questions or anything, those resources are great as well.
I think that's great. I think that, I live by myself, but my daughter was here for 3 or 4 months. And the one thing that we started right from the beginning is having a lunch break. And that's been, that's been great. And we also did have to move the modem.